Good morning, listeners and viewers. Happy Friday, the 13th. Gosh, scary. Um, you're listening to Ammar without Jaff, who has actually gone to the Middle East. He's in Saudi, is what he is. Good for him. May he have a blessed time there. So, uniquely, you've got me all by myself talking to you. So, I'm going to do uh, something distinctly different. But for those of you who have followed us for 17, 18 years, however long we've been going for on show business as the business show on Spice FM, and the only one of its kind. Uh, we used to play a lot of music. And so this morning, and because it's Valentine's and Sandeep has been on, uh, showcasing and sharing all of that wonderful joy that he does with the breakfast show and the extraordinary inspiration he showers all of us with. Uh, I'm going to continue in vein and in that same vein, and in an effort to let's warm up your Friday morning, and I'm just going to find some nice music, some historic music, some 80s music, because that's probably one of my favorite eras when it comes to that. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. I've got a presentation. I'm going to tell you what's been going on. Another crazy week. And next week, I'm away to the Middle East and India, going to Mumbai to promote our wonderful region and connect with Modi ji at the Global Economic Conference as well. And yes, so there's some exciting developments going on as we help activate the foreign trade agreement between India and the United Kingdom. And as the UK's first and only dedicated international trade centre at Newcastle Airport, 10,000 square foot purpose-built place where we provide a soft landing for inward investment and a launch pad for UK businesses who want to grow global. What we're able to do is provide all of the wraparound support that you need to grow global. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about the events that we've had. I'm going to talk about our plans and how all of a sudden we're in the middle of February. And before we know it, we're going to be in the end of the year. But I was sat round a table yesterday with the Bank of England and Virgin Money and various other service providers to talk about the current state of the economy and feeding back to the actual uh, um, the challenges affecting all businesses and feed back to the Bank of England on rates and economic policy and monetary policy as well. So I'm going to talk about all of these things, but I feel as if I need to get the Friday show going. I'll also give you a bit of an update historically why Friday the 13th was perceived to be unlucky for some and what it all means if you are superstitious. Some people actually don't come out the house on Friday the 13th. And I'm relatively certain there's a term for people who fear Friday the 13th. So we'll talk a little bit about that. In the meantime, let's get you into a bit of a Friday showbiz special music thing. Let's get this going on and see what happens. And play one of my favorite songs ever. And for those of you, so bear with me. Second, I always somewhat struggle with doing what I need to do in this way. I need to get better with the tech, given the fact that I was uh, in charge of technology in a relatively large corporate. I still fumble, bumble along, but actually I do so in such a way that that allows me to be able to fix things. Computer audio. I'm sure I want to share the sound. Yes, I do. And let's go back to this. Share the sound and press this button. Jamie, there's a bit of Naseeb there for everyone. Yeah, I've just been told that this gets copyrighted, so you'll need to cut this part out. I understand that, Jamie, so please do just cut out any video content. Naturally, Spice FM as a radio show is licensed to play music through what we do. But because this is recorded live and displayed on on various different channels, we need to be incredibly cautious and careful. But in the spirit of Friday mornings and in the spirit of Valentine's, I thought, you know what, let's keep going in this regard, and then I'll come back after this song because I feel as if it's appropriate and important to be able to share this type of music, my type of music, and music from my era is what I'd like to do. So please indulge me on this show, which is actually show business, and it's a show about business and music and everything else in life. So let's push some more buttons. When I come back, we'll get into the actual presentation and the production that we have with in place. We have it. And sorry, Jamie, if I'm giving you a little bit of extra work to do in regards to cutting out these videos. Always on my mind by the Pet Shop Boys, an iconic and historic show of the 80s is what it is. Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Ammar, as I say, sadly, without Jaff. So we're going to pepper the show with a little bit of music. Plus, it is, as I've said, the day before Valentine's. It was wonderful to hear Sandeep sharing his views in news. Excuse me. Forgive me for sneezing down the line to you. Let's see what's going on in the world with our presentation right here. As I say, sadly, without a bit of Jaff, he's having a bit of a laugh. Okay, so the show business on Friday, the 13th of February. What do we have going on? This week's headlines. It's an incredibly uncertain time. If I was to describe the world and world affairs, the news has primarily been focused on things like Epstein files And the release of those, we've seen Lord Mandelson allegedly being stripped of his peerage. We've seen cabinet ministers, cabinet leaders, the top civil servant standing down. We've seen infighting, we've seen outfighting. The world has gone to pot, as our good friend Mr. Alan Curry would suggest. And it is a very challenging day and time for everyone in businesses and just generally in life. The headlines, we only appear to have two this week. NatWest to expand accelerator community to 50,000 UK entrepreneurs in 2026. NatWest has announced a major expansion of its accelerator community, aiming to support 50,000 entrepreneurs across the UK in 2026, 5 times its target of 2025. After supporting around 12,000 founders in the past year, more than the previous decade combined, the move sits within its 5-point Growing Together plan to back regional economies, mid-market firms, infrastructure and housing, financial confidence and future innovators, with NatWest arguing banks should play a wider role than finance by using their reach and expertise to remove barriers to growth. The accelerator offers peer networks, local cohorts, and access to mentors, investors, and specialist support. And NatWest claims participating businesses achieved average turnover growth of 104% year on year versus 20% in a control group, with 9 in 10 still trading after 3 years compared with fewer than half in the control group. The expansion has been welcomed by government and business groups and will include continued growth of accelerator hubs and university partnerships, plus support delivered through the Hub Network and the NatWest Accelerator app in partnership with Google, alongside pitch events and founder forums to help businesses network and access funding. I mean, one of the things that I would like to highlight is we, through the SME Centre of Excellence, have been running accelerators, pre-accelerators, scale up, investor readiness, innovation, internationalization programs for over a decade now. And ABC's been doing it a lot longer, targeting particular groups that are underrepresented. And it is a matter of fact that if a business reaches out and gets the support they need early on, the likelihood is they're far more successful than those that haven't had any support whatsoever. I appreciate I'm simplified and you'd expect that to be a given. But it's not quite, and people don't appreciate it. So for me, it's, NatWest is one of a very small range of organizations, and there's lots of other accelerators. And in fact, we have our own accelerators that we are, sort of facilitating, delivering, and deploying, including our creative sector accelerator, which is a by selection and by invitation process for those type of entities and organizations that probably don't get the support that they need. And we will provide the space, the place, the wraparound, the support, and the exposure to a minimum of 15 businesses every 3 months, running at the runway rooms through ISS, so that not only do you get access to the UK marketplace, but you also get access to the international space station as well. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you are in creative, so whether any element of creative, including radio, broadcasting, playwriting, filming, or if you're interested in getting involved, we want to hear from you. There'll be a big campaign around this over the coming weeks, starting with the launch of the runway rooms today at ISS Airview, 10,000 square foot, purpose-built business centre right here in Newcastle. It's the first of its kind in the UK, an international trade centre which helps people launch their business internationally and provides a soft landing for anyone coming into the UK. All right. What else is going on? Well, the other sole news story this week is the government has been urged to back Great North Project to boost region's economy, is what it has. And let's just pick that up. So a new report from IPPR North is urging the government to back the Great North Project, an initiative launched by North East Mayor Kim McGuinness that brings northern mayors together to attract more investment and help transform the region's economy. The think tank says the North's problem is not a lack of money, but a lack of clear pipeline of investable projects, and recommends a pan-Northern investment prospectus, a Northern Investment Board, and a stronger pipeline focused on areas like clean energy, transport, digital technologies, and advanced manufacturing. IPPR highlights growth in places such as Greater Manchester, Rotherham, plus developments like the North East AI Growth Zone and Teesside Net Zero projects, but warns regional catch-up is still too slow due to long-term underinvestment. Leaders behind the initiative say the Great North could add 30 billion to the UK economy, with a Great North Investment Summit planned for May to showcase projects to global investors ahead of UK REEF in Leeds. Gosh, there you have it. It's headline news, all positive this week. There's nothing bad going on either, which is a bit peculiar given how bad things genuinely are in the world. Let's just have a look at what else is going on in the world, and in particular, let's just give you an update on Friday the 13th, and it's significant, and what the explanation around Friday the 13th for our radio show, so I can share it with you. Okay, so Friday the 13th, fear, folklore, and facts. Is Friday the 13th actually unlucky, or have we just told ourselves that story for centuries? Here is a strong, well-rounded update for you. Where does the fear of Friday the 13th come from? Well, the fear of Friday the 13th has a name. I mentioned this previously because Jaff and I, on a historic show, probably said this, but I'm going to try and pronounce this. It's called, so the fear of Friday the 13th has a name, and it's called paraskevidactrophobia. I'm not going to say it again. It's too long of a word, but it sounded a bit like a dinosaur, probably because that's how I have pronounced it. It's certainly not. It is paraskevidactrophobia. That alone tells you how deep this runs. Don't know what that means. Anyway, there are a few major strands behind it. So the number 13, in many Western traditions, 12 is seen as complete and orderly. 12 months, 12 zodiac signs, 12 apostles. So 13 feels like it breaks the pattern. It is the number that does not fit. In Christian tradition, there were 13 people at the Last Supper, and Judas, the betrayer, was said to be the 13th guest. Friday itself, historically, Friday was associated with misfortune in some traditions. Some believe Jesus was crucified on a Friday. Sailors in early centuries even avoided setting sail on a Friday. The Knights Templar story, one of the most quoted historical moments, happened on Friday the 13th, 1307, when King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of the Knights Templar. Hundreds were imprisoned, tortured, or executed. That event helped cement the idea that Friday the 13th was ominous. Well, is it actually unlucky? There is no solid statistical evidence that more accidents or disasters happen on Friday the 13th. In fact, some studies suggest accident rates can drop slightly because people behave more cautiously. So, ironically, the fear itself can charge and change behavior. The psychology behind it, this is where it gets interesting. We are wired to look for patterns. When something bad happens on Friday the 13th, it sticks in our memory. When nothing happens, we forget it. That is called confirmation bias. The story becomes stronger than the statistics. Pop culture amplified. The idea exploded globally because of film and media, especially the horror franchise Friday the 13th. After that, the date moved from folklore into mainstream culture fear. And the economic impact in the United States alone, some estimates suggest hundreds of millions of dollars in lost business on Friday the 13th because people delay travel, property purchases, or major decisions. Even buildings often skip the 13th floor. Yet in another cultures, 13 is lucky. In parts of Italy, 13 can symbolize prosperity. In some traditions, it represents transformation. So the fear is cultural, not universal. There you have it. Something like maybe Friday the 13th is not about bad luck at all. Maybe it is about what happens when we let stories shape our reality more than facts. There you have it. It's scary times. Let's continue in this unusual, but hopefully Friday feeling in a positive way. Of another favourite song and something that I will be reflecting on in the not too distant future is this brilliant song here. And I'm trying to once again reinvigorate, remember, whatever the right word is. Forgive me, with only 4 hours worth of sleep, I'm probably not on the best form that I could or should be. But here we go. Here's another brilliant song. One of the songs that I truly admire. Forgive me if you're an English listener. I'm sure you can still get into the groove with the jingle jangle of some Bollywood type music. Let's get this show back on the road for you, and let me push some. But it's got to be one of the best songs ever. It's beautiful. It makes me smile. I'm hoping it's making you smile, despite whether you could understand it or not. Yeah, it's a wonderful song from a wonderful movie by a brilliant actor, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, is what it is, and it's there. Yeah. So let's get going back with the rest of the show. So let me push a couple of more buttons and let you know what's going on in the world. ABC, Asian Business Connections, aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities. And whether you want to talk shop, have an existing shop, have a business, or whatever you want to do, we can help, and we do. We connect, support, and promote each and every one of you out there. So let's just go back to this. So Prince William, headline of the week is, so there's a headline of the week as well. So Jamie had kindly platformed one of the headlines. It's all positive news this week, though, Jamie. What's going on? I like it. It's good. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, has undertaken a 3-day official visit to Saudi Arabia from the 9th until the 11th of February. And what does that mean? Well, it actually means that we're developing further civic ties. And for someone like me, who's been exactly in the same place and space where Prince William is and was, it's great to see. And in a UK government requested trip designed to strengthen diplomatic, trade and cultural relationships, it is his first official overseas visit in 2026 and his first time visiting the kingdom, coming as the UK and Saudi Arabia approach nearly a century of diplomatic ties in 2027, and following recent UK-Saudi trade and investment agreements worth 6.4 billion secured in 2025. During the visit, William is meeting Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to discuss economic reforms, investment opportunities, and the energy transition, while also engaging with young Saudis and visiting projects linked to sustainability, urban development, women's sports, and various other things. The trip is a great trip because it follows on the back of 4 or 5 years of International Space Station going back and forth to Saudi over the years. Business topic of the week, making tax digital, is an incredibly important element that's coming from the 6th of April. So if you're a sole trader or a landlord, making tax digital for income tax is a key change to prepare for right now. So from the 6th of April, anyone with annual income over 50,000 from self-employment and property will need to keep digital records and use compatible software to send updates to HMRC. The biggest shift in day-to-day process, moving away from spreadsheets and year-end catch-up towards keeping records up to date throughout the year, which can improve visibility of income, costs and cash flow once set up properly. The practical steps are to check if the rules apply to you. Choose software that fits how you run your business, ideally involving your account early. Build a simple weekly or fortnightly record-keeping routine and tidy your paperwork and categories in advance to avoid confusion and last-minute panic. Done well, making tax digital can become an opportunity to improve planning, spot issues earlier, and make better decisions with clearer current numbers. Looking for support? Well, come along to the SME Business Club networking and hear from guest speakers, which will cover how to get your business ready for making tax digital. It's at the 24th of February, 2026 at the International Space Station in Airview. So check out the SMECOFE.com website for further details. Things going on this week. We had a round table hosted by Raymond James Monument, which brought together leaders, professionals to explore finance and wealth through an inclusion lens, and the conversation focused on wealth management, the importance of accessible financial education, and how language and terminology can often act as barriers. By centering on grassroots understanding and practical insight, the session reflected our inclusion by default commitment to improving the health, wealth, and happiness across the region. The Runway Rooms open day takes place today at ISS Airview in Newcastle, bringing together a full house of creatives, partners, supporters for a relaxed launch afternoon. Guests will have the chance to tour the new space, meet the founders and team, and connect over refreshments. The programme includes introductions and short talks from Craig Conway, me, Anush Verma, Independent Film Foundation, followed by open discussions, feedback, and open networking focused on upcoming projects, collaboration, and opportunities and ways to get involved. So that is the presentation. I'd like to play, I think, a final song. Let's see who else we can get to play for us. That. No, I'm going to do this. Let's see what else we can. Here's a brilliant song as well. Let's push this button and see. And forgive me if I'm and eyeing and doing all of these things. It's quite unusual for me to be by myself. I'm hoping that I've entertained you and kept the show on the road. Jaff will be back next week, although I may be out the country. But let's see. Yeah, if you're getting ready for Ramadan, make sure that you prepare yourself accordingly. and 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 best of wishes and blessings on all of you. And equally, this month sees a number of other historical religious festivals and occasions as well. Let's let's push them on one last time.